did not sign in, you have to sign in before you leave, because that is the only way I can remember that you're here, because there's a lot of you, obviously. And for people who weren't able to come because they did have class, they have an alternate thing they have to do. So if you're not signed in, you're going to have to do the alternate assignment, I guess, for the orientation, and so you don't want to double up on that, okay? All right. Good morning. Oh, let's try it again because we're all going to be teachers, so we got to perk up. Good morning.
Good morning.
For those of you I haven't met in person, my name is Amanda Priest. I am the face behind the 4,000 emails that you get all the time. I'm from the Scopes office, and I can just say that this is probably the toughest placement level 2 group I've ever had, because there's a lot of you. Hey, raise your hand if you're social studies in here. Oh yeah, you're my problem. I'm just kidding. Y'all kept me awake at night. So anyway, I just want to go ahead and get started by just saying welcome. This is going to be a great semester. This is the semester before you student teach, the semester before you're finished. I mean, how exciting is that? So this is, you know, you guys have had some clinicals in the past where you did observations and maybe taught a few lessons, but this is your real introduction to real teaching. Okay, so we're going to go over a few things today to help us get ready for that and get started on Monday. Cool? Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started by discussing the agenda for the day, and then the one thing everybody wants to talk about. So we're going to talk about what the level 2 is. We're going to talk about the praxis and the student teaching application. We're going to talk about our professional code of conduct, the sequence of the placement and how it all works, supervision, evaluation, and plans of improvement, which I hope to not have any of, our teacher in residence program, and then I'll answer any questions that we have for the good of the group. And then after that, we'll split off. Most of our supervisors are here today, which is awesome, so we'll split off with them, and you guys can do a little one-on-one with them. Okay. All right. Tam, you want to walk up here with me? Okay, let me just say the first statement is a statement you've heard a million times. Don't shoot the messengers, right? Okay.
Please.
Please. Because we feel a little beat up right now. And we are just trying to take this day by day. I want to just start by saying that we want to see everyone in here successful. I want to see everybody in this room student teaching next semester, okay? So we'll just begin by saying that. Okay, so if you look at the slide, it says if you have not completed your student teaching application and you're planning on student teaching in the spring, complete it ASAP. Even if you haven't passed the praxis yet. Even if you haven't passed it yet, but you're still planning on trying to student teach in the spring, fill out the application, okay? Yes? Okay. All right. We have a pass date by the end of October for the Praxis 2 content test, okay? In order to student teach next semester, in order for the state to give you a permit to student teach, which you have to have passed the Praxis content. Not the PLT, the content test, okay? Now, for everybody, that means something a little different, right? Elementary, it's a few things, correct?
Right.
Okay, would you like to go over those maybe?
You have to have the actual elementary test, which is 5001, and that's the combined test of all 4. And you also have to have the teaching reading,
okay,
the 5203.
Okay, for elementary people.
Yes.
Because sometimes there's some confusion about that, and some people think they can just take the teaching reading or maybe not take it, but you have to take all of that. Okay, and you have to pass all of that. So when we say all of it, elementary, when you take that, and let's say you pass everything except social studies, you're not passed. You got to go back and take that piece again. Okay? Everybody understands this? Yes. Okay. So, like I said, the permit will not be issued unless a score is on file. Okay, even if you have not yet passed your praxis test, please complete the steps for the student teaching permit sent to you earlier this week. So Tammy's
Yes,
gonna talk to you about
everybody
that.
should have gotten the email.
Okay,
Is there anybody that did not get the email about the permits?
about the
Okay,
steps
very
to
good.
take for the fingerprinting, right, and all of that stuff. You guys understand that?
That was a background check, right?
Background
Yes.
check.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just say this though. Actually, I'll let you say it. If you haven't passed by October 30th, sign up and take your test again. Okay?
Because here's what's going to happen. When I have to upload the applications to the State Department the 1st of November, because I have to give them an 8-week period to get those processed. If I have your scores, your passing scores, everything's fine. Your application will be uploaded, it'll be processed. If I don't, I will hold those applications in a pending file. But they would have already gone through, I have to send them to the county first for signatures. That process will already be done. They will already be scanned, and all I have to do as soon as I get your passing test scores is upload that to the State Department. If I send it to them first and they put it in a pending file, they're going to send you a letter telling you you have 30 days to get those scores in, or you're going to have to pay another fee, your application will be denied. So we've worked it to where I will hold them in a pending file. And the minute that I get your test scores, that will be uploaded to the State Department. If it comes down to the fact that we don't get your scores until January, and you go into your student teaching seminar that first day, still don't have my scores. If it's a week later, there will be ways that you can make up that time. Like she said, we're going to do everything we can to get you all in your student teaching placements. Everything that humanly possible.
But you need to understand this. You got to work with us. You got to do what we expect you to do on the timeline, because I will just say this, the last 2 semesters, we have had people start 2 to 3 weeks late over fingerprinting issues. The girl yesterday who I was talking to, who started 2 weeks late this time, got the first initial correspondence about her fingerprints. Like, some people have strange fingerprints and they can't read them, they can't process their fingerprinting, on June 28th. And she started emailing back and doing what she was supposed to do on June 28th. That was the first correspondence. And she just got started really last week. So, do you see what I'm saying? These things take time, but you have got to stay on top of your end of the deal, okay?
And pay close attention to the instructions on the forms, when to turn everything in, when fees are due. Because normally, when I have you turn in the 24 and the 7, I have to have the receipt showing you paid to the State Department. Don't do that yet. I want you to pay that fee when you know you've passed your test. If you've passed your test and everything, have your scores back, you can go ahead and do that. But those are not, that receipt is actually not due until the same day that the fingerprinting receipt is due. So what I need right now, as soon as possible, so that I can get them out to the counties, 24 and the 7. Get those completed, get Form 7 notarized, get them to me. And what I will do, I will email you all to death. Because what I'll do is, once that's done, then the next step will be, I'll constantly be saying, I need your practice scores, schedule your fingerprinting, make sure you pay attention to that fingerprinting date. You don't want to get it done before that date, or they may expire, because they're only good for 90 days. But if you follow the calendars that I sent and the checklist, follow those dates. And we can get everything processed and get you where you need to go. Like she said, as long as you do what we ask you to do, then we're going to do over and above what we can do to get everything fixed.
Cool.
And try not to stress.
We are
Especially when you go
stressing
take your
enough for
test.
everybody in this room. I promise. I promise. Does anybody have any specific questions about this? Now, if it's about your general like self, you can just hold that, and we will talk to you individually afterwards if you need to. Okay? Yes, for the
So
good of the group. Back there. You. Yes.
The email mentioned there's 2 notaries in Jenkins.
Yes.
Who are they?
Tanya is one. Susan Midkiff is the other. Okay, Susan sits where Candace and our office is. Tanya's directly across the hall if you can't find Susan. Okay, do not sign those until you're in front of them. Okay, because that's what a notary is for, right? A lot of people don't understand that. They go ahead and sign it and then bring it in. So, okay, yes, sir.
So even if we don't have the fingerprinting complete, we're good to start next week.
Oh, the fingerprinting's for student teaching.
All right.
Yeah, this is for level 2. So yeah, everybody in here. I just must say, pat yourselves on the back. This is the first semester since I've been doing this that when I had orientation, everybody had their background check done. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you for doing that. So yeah, everybody in here is good to start. Okay. Anybody have any more praxis questions? If it's an individual question about yourself, just wait and we'll talk to you after. Okay?
Now's the time.
Yeah. Now is the time.
Now's the time.
If you have questions, don't wait. And let me just reiterate this because I think that some people, this isn't an Amanda rule or a Tammy rule or a Candace rule or a Dean Eagle rule or even a President Gilbert rule. This is a state of West Virginia rule, okay? It's in a policy on the Department of Education website. You can look it up and read it. It is out of our hands, okay?
And the difference with that, we're so used to catalog years.
Yeah.
When their policy changes, it changes
Yeah.
immediately when that new policy goes into effect. And then the universities have to do what they can do to get everybody taken care of according to that policy. So that's, 2 different ways that we do things, and we have to follow what the State Department tells us to do because we're a state-approved program.
Okay. Everybody good? Can we move on to the good stuff now? All right.
Can we smile now?
Everybody smile. Everybody take a deep breath. Because I've been up like just sick. I hate these conversations. So. All right. Okay, moving on. What is level 2? It's a 75-hour total. Can you go over 75 hours? Of course. Can you do 60 hours? No. 75-hour clinical experience prior to your level 3, your student teaching. It's content specific, so for elementary people, we used to refer to it as a reading block. It's during the reading instruction. For everyone else, it's whatever your content is, whatever your field is, secondary folks. It's 90 minutes to 2 hours per day, 5 days a week, until the 75 hours are complete. Now, I saw some people like, sit up on that. How many people in here have 9:30 class on Tuesday, Thursday? Or on Monday, Wednesday? Okay. We have some people every semester who we run into some scheduling conflicts. We're flexible. We work with you. If you go from 8 to 9 to your placement on those 2 days, then you can add those additional 30 minutes on the other days, or however we need to work it out. If you have an issue that's a little bit more than that, just see me personally, and we will work things out for you. Okay. Basically, you cannot do more than 10 hours a week, though. Okay. And you can't just say, oh, I'm going to go Tuesdays and Thursdays for 5 hours. That's not how this is set up, okay? This is a consistent teaching where you are teaching a unit, where you are teaching every single day, you're teaching the same classes. So it's just to prepare you for the student teaching experience, okay? So if you have a specific question about yourself and about your schedule, just talk to me afterwards, okay? All right. Basically, in the level 2, it involves, you're going to be observing at the beginning. When I say observing, I don't mean standing in a corner. I think that that's a confusion sometimes with people. You're in this now with 2 feet, okay? So I expect you to just get in there and get busy. You're going to be doing some lesson planning, unit writing, and beginning teaching. Dr. Jackson is really good with the elementary about giving you guys a timeline and how things should be taught and how things work out. If anybody else in secondary has any questions, they can always come and see us, or your supervisor is really your main source of information on how to organize and set things up for that, okay? All right, so professional code of conduct. We have a professional code of conduct within the College of Education and Professional Development that we expect our clinical students to uphold when they go out in the classrooms. It is, if you want to read it, which you're going to, it is listed on our website, and I'm going to send this to everyone. You can write it down if you want, but I'm going to send everyone a link to this website. It's marshall.edu/COEPD/PLC, Professional Learning Communities. Any information that you need, any documents that you need, calendar dates are listed on that website. I've got it set up really clean, I feel like, and efficiently to where there's a student column, there's a cooperating teacher column, and there's a supervisor column. So if, let's say, you go in and your cooperating teacher has a question about what your expectations are or what their expectations are, they can just click on the link and read it. It's all right there at your fingertips, okay? So I'm going to send everybody that link, but the professional code of conduct is on there. Basically, you're to follow professional behavior and attitude towards this clinical experience. I like to call this a beginning job interview, okay, like a pre-job interview. I call your student teaching your job interview because it really legitimately is. I have people hired out every semester straight out of student teaching into the schools they were student teaching at because the administration and the teachers saw what a great job they did, okay? So just think of that. You are to follow all rules and expectations of the classroom teacher. That means and when I give you these scenarios, I'm not making this stuff up. These are all legitimate scenarios that I've had to deal with through the years, which may sound ridiculous, but they are true. If the school doesn't permit teachers to drink drinks in the classroom, then don't drink drinks in the classroom. If they don't permit the kids to have candy or gum, don't chew gum, don't have candy. I mean, these are pretty basic rules, correct? We're going to talk more about cell phones here in a minute, but I would just leave it in the car locked up. I would not even bring it in the building with me. And we're going to talk more about that, but you are not to have your phone out texting or on social media or talking. I don't know. Do people still talk on the phone? I talk on the phone a little, just when I have to, but so I would just leave my phone in the car. I wouldn't even bring it in with me, okay? You are to maintain confidentiality regarding students and school issues at all times. That is a non-negotiable. You will be in classrooms and you will be in schools where you will see things and you will think, I don't know about that. Now, if you see something that you think is pretty severe or that you feel like that you need to talk to someone about, talk to your supervisor or talk to me. Those are your people you talk to. Don't talk to your best friend. Don't talk to your boyfriend. Don't talk to your mom. Because even if you say, hey, don't say anything about this, but somebody's going to say something. I'm just telling you, they will. This is a true example. There was a student discussing their clinical placement with another student, and they were like at a checkout, like at Walmart, Target, somewhere like that. And they mentioned the school, and they mentioned the kid's name, and guess who was checking them out? The grandma of the kid. They knew. I mean, because it was like a behavior thing. So, you know, they go back and say, oh, your student was out talking about my child in public, you know. Also, don't talk about teachers. Don't talk about other teachers. Because even if teachers don't work in the same building, they're all friends. They're all acquaintances, and they all know one another. And I had a student who was really dogging a teacher to another teacher, and they were best friends, and she didn't know. So that turned into a really bad situation. So please have confidentiality. Understand that. That is a really important rule. You know, you may be invited to sit in on IEP meetings, or you know, you're going to have kids who have some disabilities or plans in place. That's pretty real stuff. Okay, so you need to keep that to yourself. Keep an open mind and a positive attitude. Even a not so great placement is a good experience. And let me explain what that means. You may be placed with a teacher who is nothing like you, polar opposite. And you may walk in there thinking, oh great, oh, why did I get stuck here? But you can look at it as two different things. You can either look at it as I am going to be positive, and maybe they will learn something from me and I'm going to learn something from them. and it's gonna be great, or you can walk in there every day negative and it can be miserable for the next 7 to 8 weeks. Make sense? Don't do that. I'll just say that when I did my student teaching, I went into a placement where I was totally intimidated by the teacher. I'd never met her before. She was very structured, very straight-laced, and when I walked in, she said, oh, this is how I do things, but you can do them however you want, and that's fine. And I learned a lot of great things from her, and she had taught for 30 years. And then on the flip side, I went to my next placement, and I walked in, and the teacher said, this is how I do things, and you're going to do them the way I do them, and this is what you're going to teach, and this is how you're going to teach it. And it was pretty crappy, and I hated it. But I got up every day, and I went, and I finished, and then I decided I would never teach like that. Make sense? So there's two ways to always look at a situation. So just try to keep an open mind, try to stay positive. If you really feel, though, that you have a legitimate concern or a legitimate problem, talk to your supervisor and talk to me. And I will just say this, legitimate problems are not, I don't think the teacher likes me. I don't think they're very nice. Those are not legitimate, those are not real world problems, folks, okay? So just remember that. All right, social media, cell phone usage. Do not use your cell phone during the clinical. No texting. Now, let me say this. Let's say you go into a classroom and the teacher uses Dojo and they have the app on their phone, like especially in elementary, you know, for behavior management. Sure, that's fine. Or let's say they've got, you know, their phone plugged up and they want you to find something. Okay, that's cool. Don't be texting your boyfriend or taking pictures or taking selfies or using Snapchat. All of that has happened. Do not accept parents or students on social media sites. Promise me, don't do it. Who in here has a social media site, a Facebook or an Instagram, that they would just let anybody look at and they are not embarrassed of it? Or there might not even, you know, I wouldn't. Even though I'm pretty on top of things, you get tagged in pictures, don't you? And you may not be doing exactly what you would be doing if you're in a classroom. People are judgmental, okay? And this is one way that the first thing they're going to do when their kid comes home and says, oh, and I'm going to pick on Daniela because she works in our office and I know she doesn't care. If they come home and say, Daniela is my student in my classroom, guess what they're going to do? Get on Facebook and search her immediately, okay? So if you're not private right now, you need to be private, okay? That's the first thing I do. Do not post pictures or information on social media sites about students or schools or school issues. Do not get on Snapchat with your Snapchat filter and take selfies with your kids. I know it's fun. Kids like it. Don't do it though. Because guess who has to deal with that? Me. I have to handle that. And that's a problem. Okay? Do not post, I had a terrible, worst day ever. Had a terrible day. Yeah. They know what you're talking about. My husband is a principal, and he has had to have conversations with teachers who come home and post on Facebook, could this day get any worse? Wow. You know, because as a parent, if I read that and that's my kid's teacher, what do I think? Oh, they're not very positive. They had a terrible, you know, what a bad day at school. And I asked my kid, and they're like, oh no, I thought it was fine. Oh, she must hate my kid then. You see how that goes? And we hear about it. So just be very cautious. This can ruin your career before it starts. Do you understand what I'm saying? We have had people dismissed from student teaching for inappropriate social media usage. We've had them dismissed way before student teaching for it, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that. There was a local teacher last year, I mean, right up the road, who was fired over something she posted 3 years ago. Okay? Be careful. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Okay, dress code. This is always a question, too. I'm not sure why. But so we obtain a business casual dress code when we are in the classrooms. What does that mean? Well, that means that you need to, you're going to look around your school and you're going to see teachers in hoodies. You're gonna see them in jeans, you're gonna see them not dressed up, but that's not what we do, okay? So for the most part, for guys, this means khaki pants, you know, something like that, nice shirt. Ladies, I think everybody in here understands what business casual is. If I'm in a kindergarten classroom, I would probably not wear high heels this tall, okay? We had somebody do that in student teaching. As it starts to get cooler and the leggings start coming out and making their appearance, which I love a good legging, but make sure the front and the back are covered. Y'all get what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna get that phone call every time. When you get dressed, just like, whatever you typically do in that day, do it and make sure everything is covered when you're doing it. Just double check that. Your clothes should fit and they should cover appropriately. Again, comments I have to make that are ridiculous, but have good hygiene. Take a shower, brush your teeth, use deodorant. Don't get your clothes out of the hamper that your cat laid on for 3 days and shake them out and put them on. Don't go in hungover. Listen, people know, okay? These are facts. I'm just telling you. No jeans with the exception of special dress days. Let's say you're at an elementary school and on Fridays they wear jeans. Wear jeans, that's fine. Don't wear, I saw a pair of jeans the other day and I told my class that I teach, I didn't even know, I've never seen a pair of jeans like this in my life and I'm really not sure how they stayed on this person's body. But I guess they had a waistband, but the entire front was gone, and then they had cuffs on the bottom. Like, it was the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't wear those to school. So no holes, no shreds, no underwear sticking out the back. You know what I'm saying? None of that business. No visible tattoos or piercings, with the exception of ear piercing. That is a rule that I inherited. And we try to keep with that rule. Are you going to go to schools where you're going to see both of those things? Yes. However, your supervisor will have a conversation with you if it becomes an issue. Okay. Everybody in here got their ID badge. Still got it. If you don't have it, you better go get one. You have to have it on at all times from the moment you walk out the door. Okay. Any questions about this? This is the time. Because there ends up being some sort of conversation. Yes?
In the event that we can't find an ID badge, where do we go to get a new one?
Okay, the ID office, you go to the campus ID office, it is now in Drinko. Okay, it used to be in the basement here, it's not anymore, they've moved to Drinko. Yes, ma'am?
So when it gets cold, how are they about flannels?
Okay, I'll just say this. There are, you can dress up jeans, you can dress up nice things, you can dress things up. Look around your school. This is a perfect example of this. There are schools that are very conservative in this area, and there are schools that are not so conservative. I think it would also be at the discretion of your supervisor. So that would be a good question to talk to them about. The person I was talking about that had the high heels on, they were at a very conservative school, very conservative. Everybody had on khaki capris. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Okay. So they're at this conservative elementary school, and beautiful girl, beautiful, and a good teacher. Did a great job. She came in, she had on a skirt, a top, white high heels, and her hair's pink underneath. Is she going to draw some attention in that school? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was an issue for them. So we had a conversation, toned it down. She went to a different school, fit right in. Everything was fine. So just know where you're at. I'll have this little saying, if you're going to wear it to the club, that's what my husband and I call it because I'm old. We call it the club. Because I got a pair of pants that are black, but they have leather at the bottom, and he's like, "Are you going to the club today?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to the work today." So anyway, if you're going to wear it to the club, don't wear it to the school. Does this make sense? Okay. Because whatever you would wear out is probably not something you're going to wear in school. And something that we need to really kind of talk about too for secondary folks, you're not much older than the students you're going to be around. Okay, so you need to differentiate yourself. Does this make sense? A lot of you are going to look like your students at the school. Yes.
in middle school and high school, ladies, you need to be very, very careful how low the front of your shirt is. If you bend over and see the girls,
Yeah.
so can they,
I mean,
and their attention is gone.
they don't have any anyway. But then whatever little speck they did have is over, okay? And they're gonna ask you questions. They're gonna want to know every personal detail of your life. And it is okay to be friendly with these kids and to be nice to them and form great relationships. You need to be really, really careful. One daughter is 17, the other daughter is 11. She's in 6th grade, the other one's a senior. I know some things about their teachers that their teachers have told them that I'm like, oh my God. And you know, and then when I see that person, I'm like, oh, that's the first thing I thought of, you know? So keep a lot of it to yourself. How's that? Okay, any other questions about dress code? Okay, PE people. Oh, yes, sir.
She said about flannels. Are flannels not dress shirts?
I would not say a flannel is dress shirt, but that would be a conversation with the supervisor. Okay. Who's wellness in here? Okay. I do not expect dress pants, dress shoes, all that stuff. You're going to go in classrooms where the teacher's going to wear like gym shorts and a t-shirt. Don't do that. Okay, khaki shorts, polo, nice shirt, you know, something to that effect. Wear shoes, you know, wear tennis shoes, wear shoes you can move around in. Okay, good. All right. Attendance policy. Okay. Everybody in here has used live text to log time, correct? Everybody in here should have used live text by level 1. I think we're that far back that everybody in here is familiar with live text, has a live text account. Has everyone in here used the time log on the live text before, like for your level 1? I see some no's. Okay, that's okay. What you'll need to do is you'll need to log, once you get started, you're going to log into live text, and this is where a lot of people get confused. You click the field experience button, okay? And your time log is on the right side of the screen once you click the field experience button. And so from there, it'll say add hours with a plus. You click it, you're going to put in the date, you're going to put in how many hours you were there, and you're going to save it, okay? At the midterm and at the end, the teacher goes in, your cooperating teacher, they're going to have a login too, because this is how they do your evaluations. And anyone who's had a student in the past 2 years knows this. And they'll approve your time. Don't fudge your time. I'll know. You have to sign in the office every morning. You have to sign out when you leave, morning, whenever you go. Some of you are afternoon. You have to sign in, you have to sign out, and you need to log your time. It's a good practice to go in every day and log it. I would say if you went in twice a week and logged it, that would be okay, just as long as you keep track. Cool. Okay. It has to be logged in live text. That's a no exception rule. Okay. Yes. Please speak.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you log in,
Mm-hmm.
in level 2, does it have a place for what you did that day? Because I know
It does.
teaching,
Yes.
you should,
Same thing.
you should follow what you do every day.
Yeah.
So those 2 hours that you're there,
Right.
do they need to log that?
Yes, I think so. And I mean, even if you just say, you know, social studies people, World War I, you know, what you covered that day. For elementary, if you just put phonics instruction, small groups, that's fine. There's a comment section there where you can talk about what you did for the day. Okay. Look at it, play with it. If you don't understand it and you're just completely like, I cannot do this, just come see me. We'll take care of it. Okay? Are we good on that? Now, once that happens and once you start logging that time, once we hit that midterm point, your teacher and your supervisor are going to go in and they're going to do your midterm evaluation, and it's going to show up to where you can see it. Okay? And you'll just click on it. It'll be a link there. So it's pretty easy. I mean, we're trying to go paperless. It's very user-friendly for the most part. It has its moments. But just mess around with it a little bit, and then if you don't understand it, you still are struggling, just come see me. We'll fix it, okay? All right. If you're going to be absent, okay, let's say you, okay, we're going to talk about absences, but if you legitimately wake up and you are sick, okay, you're not going to be able to make it, okay? You're really sick. You don't just not feel good, because I don't feel good every day when I wake up. Everybody else in here too, right? But we get up and we go to work. So if you're legitimately sick, the first person you're going to notify is your cooperating teacher. Talk to them on your very first day. You maybe talk to them prior to. Who in here has already emailed their cooperating teacher? Okay. Who in here maybe already has their teacher's phone number to text them? Okay, see, they're good about that. So I would talk to them. Hey, how do you want us to communicate if something would happen? Do you want me to email? Do you want me to call the school? Do you want me to call you? Okay. So you're going to notify them first, because here's the thing: you're teaching. You're in charge for a certain section of that day, and if you're not going to be there, they need to know what you planned, because these are your plans. These aren't their plans. So they need to know that you're not going to be there for that day, okay? So you're going to notify them first. Next person you're going to notify is the university supervisor. That is a no exception rule, okay? This is an immediate thing, because guess what happens? If your university supervisor goes to see you and you are not there, and you have not communicated to them, that becomes a major problem. Is that understood? Okay. This is one of those. I don't waver on this. Okay. Upon 3 absences, you're placed on a plan of improvement. Nobody wants to do that. Okay. 6 absences. That means you were supposed to be there and you call off. You're given a no credit, and you're going to repeat the clinical. Nobody wants to do that either. Okay. Got it? Questions? Yes.
Does Super Day come against us next Friday?
No. Okay. As long as you communicate that to the people you need to communicate it to, and you're already set that you were doing that, that's fine. Okay. Yes.
What if you haven't figured out who your cooperating teacher is yet?
Well, everybody should have received a placement email from me, because I got here at 7:30 to send out the rest of them. Have you not received an email?
I haven't checked my email this morning.
That would be fine. Okay, so you're on there. Yes, sir.
What if the cooperating teacher is absent? Is it like for level 1s where we're not allowed to be there?
No, you're going to stay there with the, with the substitute. Now, are you allowed to substitute? No. And there are going to be schools that are going to be like, listen, the teacher will be here about an hour, so it should be, oh no. Just say, I'm not allowed to do that. And then call me. Call your supervisor, call me. Call somebody. Okay? Schools won't try to do that for the most part. They will take care of things. So just know that is not allowed. Yes, sir.
Is there like other excused absences besides being sick, like doctor's appointments?
Doctor's appointments, no. Excused absences, talk to me. You know, I'll work it out with you. It'll be fine. Yes, ma'am.
If the teacher is absent
Mm-hmm.
and there is a sub in the room,
Yes.
and it's okay for
Yes.
that
Yes.
Okay.
Just continue on.
two students to continue.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I got a couple. Yes, Alan. Tardies. Oh. Don't be late. That I mean, there's a million ways you can say it, but I'll just say, okay, don't be late. If you are supposed to be at the school at 7:50, don't get there at 7:55, because that's not 7:50. All right? If you are tardy 3 times, it counts as an absence. If you're tardy 5 times, that's a deal breaker. Okay? We had somebody in student teaching a few semesters ago who I had to go put on a plan of improvement. This is truth. On a Thursday afternoon, Thursday last period of the day, I meet with her. Teacher, principal, everybody's there. We put her on plan of improvement for being late all the time and not having her stuff. But it was basically just about being late, okay? She was late the next day. She had to repeat her student teaching. If I'm on a plan of improvement for being late, I'm sleeping in the parking lot the next day to make sure I'm there when the bell rings, okay? Don't be late. Now, things happen. The other day, there was a wreck on 64, and there was a wreck on 60. And so, even Dr. Isaacs was home for like 3 hours. You know, I get all these frantic texts, you know, Amanda, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, first off, chill, because there's nothing you can do. You know, things like that happen. We understand. I had somebody have a wreck on the way to level 2 and was freaking out because they weren't gonna make it. And they had a wreck, like the airbag went off. It was a big wreck. And I'm like, hey, calm down, it's all right. We'll work it out. Okay? Don't just miss because you feel like missing. Don't be late because you just didn't give up. Okay? Those are not excuses. Understood? All right. Yes, is your question?
It says you gotta log in on Live Text each day. Could you like record your own hours and do it on Friday, or you have to do it every day?
Your time has to be logged for every single day. I would like for you to log in every single day. Am I going to pull everybody in here up every single day and make sure you log your time? No. How's that? So if you log it in twice a week. Now Candace might. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, she has something to say.
And the teacher also has to approve it.
Yeah.
So you might want to talk to your teacher, does she want to approve that every day, or does she want to make sure that you have it there?
Weekly.
You don't want to inconvenience the teacher,
Right.
ask her, or what's the best policy?
I think that is fine. I wouldn't, don't wait till the last day. Don't wait till the last day, like, don't wait till the midterm day. Don't wait, you know, at the least every week. How's that? Okay.
Because we will be checking periodically.
Yeah,
Because if those hours aren't in there, you don't get credit for the class.
exactly. Who in here in level 1 maybe got an email from me saying, hey, I don't see your hours? You know, think about that. We check these things. We have to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Okay. All right, so supervision. Everybody in here is going to be assigned a supervisor, okay, a university supervisor. I'll just say that our university supervisors are awesome. Like, I couldn't do my job without them. And then sometimes they take a semester off, and then I call them and I beg them to come back, and then they come back. So, or I say, hey, I have somebody, can you go here? You know, so they're so good to me. The university supervisor is the liaison between the school and the teacher and you and the university, okay? They're kind of they oversee sort of that whole relationship. And so they're gonna come in and they're gonna do observations, they're gonna do a midterm evaluation, and they're gonna do a final evaluation. They are gonna be your contact person if you might have a question concerning something going on in the classroom, or what do you think about this unit, or how should I lay this out? You know, they're a great resource. So ask your university supervisor, okay? Your cooperating teacher is going to do observations as well. They're going to do a midterm evaluation, and they're going to do a final evaluation. Now, once that midterm date hits, and all of those midterms come in, the very first thing I do is I go through and I read every single one of them. I have to look at them because I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something to not be there. I'm looking for no unsatisfactories. If I have a teacher or a supervisor, typically if there's a problem, I know ahead of time before this happens anyway, but if there is a mark of unsatisfactory, we have to have a plan of improvement. And we have to have a major meeting and a major conversation, because we don't want anyone to not be successful, okay? We want to see everybody be successful. And if you're struggling right here at this point, how do you think it's going to go for student teaching? Right? Okay, so we want to get everything rolling. We want to use all the tools that we can to make sure that everyone is successful. So let's say you get an unsatisfactory on the midterm, and we do a plan of improvement, and we're trying to work through it, and then the final comes around, and you're going to get an unsatisfactory again. You're going to fail the plan. Okay, you're not going to pass the clinical. Have we had people not pass the clinical? Yeah, it happens. But I'm going to say this, and we have people who don't pass student teaching sometimes. Every single person, and Candace can attest to this, I've been here, I'm just started my 4th year here this week. Every single person that we have had come through this program who did not pass and came back the next semester to retry has come to me and thanked me or thanked the program for making sure that they got what they needed and they were successful. Does this make sense? And every single person that has happened to is successful now. I mean, they are licensed, or One of them's teaching at a university. I mean, I got an email from her the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know? One of them's teaching at a university. One of them just applied for her licensure. One of them is a teacher. We want everybody to be successful, and we want to give you the tools. But if you're struggling here, if you think you're struggling here, imagine how you're going to be when it's a full day, okay? So just know that. We are here to make sure that everybody is successful. Yes?
We're looking for the score of satisfactory.
Yes.
That's what regular teachers, a lot of times, even though they've been teaching a long time, when they're evaluated, distinguished is like, you know, Pluto.
That was my next comment, yeah. Our evaluation system is aligned with the West Virginia teaching standards, okay? This is the same evaluation system that licensed teachers in classrooms are evaluated on, okay? So, and I left the teaching profession to come here. I will just tell you, I was not distinguished, and I was awesome. Like, beyond, I was great. I'm just kidding. No, I really was. I was great. I mean, I loved it. I loved teaching, and I was awesome, and I was all about it. But I was not distinguished all the way down the board. Maybe in a couple things. I've been doing it for 12 years. So, I mean, I should have been pretty distinguished in some of the stuff. I was accomplished after that amount of time. Everybody in here should be basic. Nobody wants to be basic, I know. But everybody in here should be basic. Like, that's what everybody should be. And if you get an accomplished in there, that's crazy good. So just know that. What happens every semester is people get their midterm and they look at it and they are distraught and disappointed because they think that basic is a C or a D, okay? Don't think of it as a letter grade on that rubric. Distinguished, accomplished, basic, unsatisfactory. You don't want to be unsatisfactory. It's great to be basic, and if you get a little accomplished, that's awesome. Think of it that way, okay? Everybody good? Now, are some of your teachers going to give you distinguished? Yeah, because they just do. They don't listen sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. But don't have the expectation of, I'm distinguished, get basic, and then think we are life ruiners, okay? Because we are realistic. And that's what's going to happen when you go into regular school. That was a complaint that we got before we changed this, was that our students were getting these high marks, and then they were going into the real world, and you're not getting those high marks, and then it's like this big letdown, you know. So we're trying to be as real as possible. Okay. All right, plans of improvement. These are basically all the ones I have to write. Attendance is the number one. Unacceptable dress, unacceptable behavior, and not following protocol regarding lesson plans. Or if you get a rating of unsatisfactory on a midterm, which would probably go back to these. They would go back to professionalism or just, you know, struggling with the planning and the teaching. Okay? If you feel like you're having a hard time, especially elementary people, I mean, I help whoever comes in my office, I sit down with them and I help them. But if you are struggling, come see me. Talk to your supervisor. Talk to Dr. Jackson. Talk to Dr. Arneson. Talk to your person, okay? That we're here to help. So those are basically what plans of improvement I typically have to write. Okay, TIR. Who in here has heard of TIR? Everybody should have. We blasted everywhere. Okay, a TIR is a teacher in residence. This is a program that we got rolling about 2.5 years ago, maybe. We actually had the very first county was Boone County, and they contacted us because they were in a teacher shortage, and they did not have certified teachers in all their classrooms. And so we got started with this contract with them, and since it's grown, how many counties do we have now? 16 in the state. Those are posted on our website, I think. You can look on there if you have any questions. Basically, what a teacher in residence is, it's a contract we have. It's an affiliation between a county and the college, and you complete your student teaching in a content-specific position, and you receive a portion of the salary. Because how much are you going to get paid to student teach? 0, okay? So, let's just use, I'm going to use this example. Let's say there is a math job in Wayne County at Spring Valley High School, because that was the TIR we had, okay? So this job gets bid, nobody bids on it, or nobody qualified bids on it, and so they don't fill it. It gets bid again, because you know that's how jobs work in education, they bid the jobs through the counties, okay? So it gets bid again, it gets put up again. Nobody again bids on it, so it's went through. It's gonna go through a third time, nobody's bid on it. I've got a student who has passed the Praxis and the PLT. If you're thinking about TIR, you have to have the PLT as well, okay? So they've passed all their certification exams. They have at least a 3.0 GPA, and they're a good example of what we want a student from our college to be, okay? And the county calls me and they're like, listen, you got any math people? We have this job, but we can't get anybody hired in. I'm like, hey, yeah, I do have somebody. So they start the paperwork to get hired through their county, and they get that job. They get hired in that position. So they get 65% of the salary, which is better than 0% of a salary, and they're in their own classroom teaching. They still have a university supervisor. They still have to follow all of the expectations that we have on turning things in and what we expect them to do, but they're also a real teacher, okay? So I just got called the other day from Kanawha County. I get calls from counties all the time. Hey, do you have anybody for this? The week before school started up there, I got a call. Do you have any elementary people that qualify? I mean, elementary jobs, those used to never come about. And we place people in TIRs every semester since we've started. Yes?
Does that mean that whenever the spring week is over, that TIR teacher would get that job?
Okay, that was my next part. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so let's say you do a TIR in the spring, okay, because that's when you guys are going to student teach. So you will finish out the school year. The job will be put up for bid again, but you've been working it for a year, or for a semester. You're qualified, so you're going to bid on it, and you're likely going to be hired in it. Okay. If you started in the fall, let's say you would start a TIR at the beginning of the school year in the fall, the contract states you stay the entire school year. So after the semester would end, you would flip over onto a probationary teaching contract. So you'd be there for the whole year, and then you could rebid on it, reapply. Every single person that we have that's had a TIR got their job back. One of them left and went to a different school, but I mean, because she was hired, I mean, immediately. But I'm trying to even think. Every single person that we've had through that list is still in the position they were in. Okay, math, science, foreign language, any of those are almost impossible to find qualified teachers. So they're always seeking those out. Yes, sir.
Make it a little more lucrative.
Yes.
The ones I've had, just my foot right, I'm not sure about her. They've got 100% of the salary.
100%.
They have not cut it.
Yeah. So there you go. Yes.
So say we take the field, say I want to take it over the next grade, but I'm from North Carolina. If I take it in North Carolina, does that still count towards it?
I mean, wherever you take it, it counts. I mean, as long as you send the scores here to us. Yes. Yes.
So, if I wanted to do a TIR position in the spring, when would I need to have my PLT complete by?
December. I would say December.
All right.
And I will also say this: we have had people who've started.
That you think you want to do, contact the folks in your county, have them contact us.
I know.
It only takes maybe 6 weeks for us to get a contract put together. It doesn't take us very long. It doesn't take the county very long. It takes the State Department a little bit of time to get it signed off and approved because that has to go on the agenda. But yeah, we've had 2 students that single-handedly wanted to do a TIR.
And got their county contracts approved, got everything approved. Yeah. Yeah, they took care of it on their own time, so that's good. Tanya mentioned something, and I was going to mention it earlier on the dress code thing. Homecoming's coming up, and so if you want to dress up and it's appropriate, that's fine. Okay. I know sometimes, or Halloween. I know that's always a question. You know, get the vibe from your teacher. get the vibe from the school. But, I mean, if they're having crazy sock day, wear crazy socks. You know, do something fun. So, yes.
Well, this is like back to dress.
Okay.
How are they with like fingers on like tank tops and stuff?
I would not wear a tank top until I got the vibe of my school, the culture of my school. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It should be fine, but just, you know, be careful about it. Okay. Any other questions about TIR before we move on? Yes?
If you were to do TIR, does that mean that you have to take that position the next year?
No. No. That was another thing. After, like for you all, when you student teach in the spring, let's say you finish out the TIR and you're like, oh, I do not want to come back here. You don't have to, because they're going to rebid the job anyway. Okay? So, yes?
Well, if you start in the fall, you already have to finish all that.
You do. You have to finish out the year. Yes?
So in that situation, when you have to finish out the year, you start in the fall, and your probation starts the second semester, if you decide to move schools after that, will your probation start over again?
Counties are different. Usually you're on a 3-year probationary contract in West Virginia. So yeah, you would have been on a probationary contract for 6 months. You know,
right.
So,
and so if you move
it would
schools
apply.
after that, would it start over, or would you?
No, it would apply to it, I would think. Yeah. It would just carry on. Because, I mean, people switch schools all the time. So, like for instance, at the school I was at, you know, if somebody taught at a smaller school for 2 years on a probationary contract, then was able to get hired at this bigger school, they were still on a probationary contract, but they had 2 years now. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay. We good? Good. All right. So, I'm going to send everybody this PowerPoint when I go back to my office, along with the link to the website I was telling you about. But if you have any questions, any concerns, there's my email, there's my office phone number. For some reason, my voicemail is not always working. It's like kind of wonky right now. So try, you know, if you email me, I do my best to email you back that same day, and typically within 2 hours of you sending it. I will just say this. I don't have email on my phone because it would just do nothing but go off. Because when I'm at home, I'm at home. I try to be. I'm really not. I'm really working a lot. But I try to be at home and present, and I think that you all understand that too. So most things that you think might be an emergency are probably not. Probably could be handled the next day. So just, you know, remember that. But if you ever have a question, concern, anything like that, you just need to let me know. Okay? Now, 2 things. If you did not sign in, you better do it. Because if not, I'm going to send you an email and it's going to have all this business you got to do on it. And you don't want to do it again. Okay? Secondly, everybody should have gotten a placement email. However, I was waiting on one school to email me back, and they did 5 minutes before I walked over here with 5 placements. So I may have to make a couple of adjustments. I emailed somebody right before I left that said, I'm going to have to change your placement. You know, there's a change in your placement, but it'll be fine. You know, we'll talk. So if that was you, come see me. So without dragging this on any longer, not all of our supervisors are here, I don't think, but most of them are. So let me just go over this list really briefly. Okay. If you are placed at Huntington East or at Huntington Middle School, you are going to be with Miss Ann Wheeler, and she's got her hand up there in the back. And so once we disperse, just she's going to find a quiet spot for you guys to talk for a minute and just get some contact information from you. Okay? So that's Huntington East and Huntington Middle right there. Brandy Davis is not here right now, but she is going to handle Wayne Middle, Wayne High, Buffalo Middle, Benson Middle, and Fairland High School. So if those are your schools, I will talk to you briefly. So just hang tight, okay? Miss Tanner is in the back, and she will stand, give you a little wave. If you are at Huntington High School, CK Middle School, or Chesapeake Middle School, you're going to be with her, okay? And that's going to be your person. So I will make sure she gets that. Would you give those to Ann? And then that one to Brenda. Thank you. And then, I think I gave all my elementary people here.